Hey, Foot Clan. Welcome to show number 400. It's been a wild ride with these two gentlemen next to me. Haven't gotten rid of them yet. We're excited to have you join us on this special episode. A big shout out and thank you to the Foot Clan. It's been a lot of fun over the last 3 years. We're looking forward to keeping this going for, another 20, 30, 50 years?
Minimum, like bare minimum.
So make sure you join us over at jointhefoot.com. Hang out with the Foot Clan. Lots of great people over there. Couldn't be more thankful for what you've done for us and for this show. Well, let's get to show 400.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Play Draft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Yet again, we're back. Oh, my goodness.
400!
This is a special show. We're going to fill your belly with fantasy food. It'll be a feast. We'll get you ready for 2017, but we also have a very special segment to end today's show. This is show 400 in our history. The Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright.
I'm here.
Show 400. We made it. We made it, America. We have a special segment at the end that Brooks put together, some highlights from the first 399 shows. I doubt he's including any highlights from today's show the way it's going so far.
The good news is, when we started this show, I was very vocal. I said, as long as we can make it to 416 shows,
Right.
I know that we've made something special.
It. Yeah, so we're almost there.
But not yet.
To your benchmark. Yeah, I could all collapse very quickly. No, it's exciting. It's fun. It's neat to hit these benchmarks. We're so thankful for everybody that has listened, subscribed, tuned in, been a core part of our community. I know that there are a lot of you that were here on day one.
Yes.
And hopefully we have maintained kind of the key parts of what this show is. We want to equip you to make great decisions in fantasy football that lead to winning. We don't want to just tell you what to do, but we spend our time and our effort equipping you with the best information and hopefully providing enough shows.
And, of course, welcome to the new Foot Clan as well.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of new members.
We are just as grateful for everybody. Thank you, everybody.
All right, quick question. Tying into show 400, guys. Quick question of the day from John Jarvis over on Twitter. What is each of you guys' favorite moment since starting the podcast?
Ooh.
And then he says, thanks for all you do. Keep up the good work. We shall try to do that for you. What is your favorite moment, you think? That's a tough one to you're going to hear 10 minutes worth of funny moments at the end.
Yeah.
You go ahead. You think we would have this down by 400 shows and not step all over each other, but I'll go first. The David Johnson Eagles game, his rookie season, is my favorite moment. And not just the game, because, my mentions during that game were unbelievable. It was such an incredible moment to share with listeners of the show who played him. And if you didn't know, if you're new to the show, just David Johnson was the guy we had pushed from the draft, the actual NFL draft, saying, pay attention to this guy. Special things are going to happen. And just the game, the breakout, the fact that it was in a fantasy playoff matchup. If you had David Johnson that week, you won. You won. If you somehow managed to lose that weekend,
that's on you.
Well, that just means
not on David Johnson.
The destiny of loss is upon you. There's nothing you could have done, but it was an amazing moment. We got to kick off the show with David Johnson's official theme song. By official, he's not actually okayed it, but
He's heard it.
I okayed it. So that was my favorite moment.
Yeah,
from the show.
I love when I go back, there's all sorts of funny moments that stick out. But my favorite thing is when we have done something that actually helps. So like that, David Johnson, the Foot Clan had a huge ownership percentage of him that year, and that helped. Last year, the thing that comes to mind for me is fantasy playoffs are starting, and we share so much fantasy knowledge that we're gonna get a lot wrong. I mean, we're human and we're gonna get some right. But last year, starting the fantasy playoffs, week 14, it was nice. Last year, I was the number 1 most accurate expert, while Andy was the number 2 most accurate. And then we followed that up the next week, where Andy was the number 1. And so I just love getting people hashtag FootClan titles, and that helps. No, we're helping the people.
It's funny because sometimes week to week we have our starts and our sits and all of these different segments. You guys don't see it on this end where we are sweating bullets on some of these because, I mean, you make your best evaluation of the data you have and you pick your favorites. And I will say, yeah, many of the moments where those guys worked out, I remember Mike pushing Kirk Cousins when he was leading people to fantasy glory. That was nice. Then there's the other side. I mean, Arian Foster's demise
right.
has to be up there on my moments of the show because I just loved Arian Foster so much. So, coming on the air after his demise, I would say the Fantasy Reaper moments where seemed like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, guys that I was big fans of, they went down. Also throw out there when the Foot Clan assembled. There was a live vote for the Academy of Podcasters Award, and we quite literally got the People's Choice because of the Foot Clan, assembling for us, and just incredible listeners. So thank you very much. We are going to get into some fantasy right now. A couple of bits of news and notes, not a full segment's worth, but Chris Johnson signed a 1-year deal with the Cardinals.
So now, in your opinion, David Johnson – I don't even want to speak this into existence, but something happens to David Johnson. We have to be realistic about these things. He's a running back. Chris Johnson, does he go full-time, or does he have to share snaps with Kerwin Williams?
He'll share snaps with Kerwin Williams, but I don't think it's going to be a 50-50 split. I believe Chris Johnson would be the lead back, but not to the degree that David Johnson is. You just can't give a running back at Chris Johnson's age the amount of workload that David Johnson's getting. But I don't think it'll be 50-50.
So yeah, I agree. It's not a situation I'm excited about if that happens. Like, it'll be Chris Johnson, Kerwin Williams, Andre Ellington in an ensemble of disappointment for Cardinals fans. I mean, Chris Johnson a couple years ago kind of had that great start, and that was a time when you could handcuff him, and he was a handcuff. But right now, I'm just not that excited.
So
let's
say you're in a dynasty league. You have David Johnson. You have a complete burner spot where the guy on your bench, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to ever amount to anything. Do you drop him and grab Kerwin or Chris Johnson?
Chris Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Other piece of news: Mike Williams. We talked about him on Thursday. Mike Williams not expected to need surgery on the back, as it was reported he may need surgery. Very likely he'll start the year on the PUP.
At least training camp on the PUP. And the thing about this is Mike Williams still plummets in my rankings. If you're holding out the hope, he doesn't need the surgery, he'll get to play this year. He's still a rookie wide receiver who is not – he's essentially had zero practice with his team, getting out there, running the routes, building chemistry with Phillip Rivers. He is a non-factor for me this year.
Right, and I think that is – I wouldn't go that far because I think we saw last year what happened to their wide receiver core, and if you could have dropped Mike Williams and that athletic talent into that lineup in Week 10, he would have been a difference maker for the team last year. And so if that happened again this year – we've seen that with Odell Beckham Jr. and the hamstring injury. It took him time to get on the field. It didn't affect his rookie year league-winning performance. There could be only one
Odell Beckham.
And I'm not comparing him to Odell Beckham other than the fact that Odell was a rookie that came in late and made an impact. So I'm not going to write him off completely, but it doesn't help him, and it certainly moves him way down draft boards to where I don't, unless you can throw him on an IR spot, I don't know how you draft him.
Yeah, there's no way I'm touching him in redraft.
Yeah, so – any other news we got going on? Anything else break this morning? I mean, the Zeke news.
We got training camps starting.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys today. So this week, we're going to have a lot of news coming out. Make sure you stay tuned to all the parsing of, beat writers' reports
injury
from
reports. Yeah, and the Zeke.
See, we've gotten to the point where we almost need an official drop for Zeke Watch. This This sucks that we have to talk about this every single day.
Yeah, they said the NFL announced they're not announcing any suspension today.
They announced
yesterday.
the non-announcement.
Yeah, they announced the non-announcement. All right, let's move on and answer some mailbag questions. We do have a best ball segment coming up towards the end of the show, and then we'll get into the show, the season highlights.
Mailbag.
Mailbag, yeah!
All right. If you have a question, go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com, click the Submit a Question button, or you can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. That's 302-464-8332. Leave us a voicemail question. Keep them brief and to the point. We'll try to get them on the show, help you out with your fantasy teams. So let's go ahead and start with a voicemail question. Maybe. And it's not loading, so
Show 400.
Moving on to Austin.
all right. Austin in Norman, Oklahoma. Hey, guys, should I keep Zeke with all the off-the-field issues for my first-round pick, or maybe pair him with Terrence West, or play it safe with Mike Evans for my second-rounder? Thanks, guys. Love the show.
You got to hold out. You can't answer this question right now because if it's 3 games or under, I'm still okay giving up the first-round pick for him. I mean, of course, because it's just this generalized first-round pick, you don't know if you're actually getting value for him because while I'll still take him in the first. If with a 3-game suspension, you're talking in the back of the first. It's very similar to Le'Veon Bell last year. There was a lot of panic, and he dropped into the second round for many players. And because of his difference-making ability for fantasy football, being a top-tier running back, Le'Veon Bell was still well worth having. I mean, he won people championships. So I would go with Zeke still.
You brought up, I think, what matters the most for this player is where are you drafting in that first and that second round? Because once the Zeke news comes out and let's say he's suspended, 1 game or something like that, then it's really clear. If you've got a late round pick in the first round, then I would still keep Zeke. But if you've got an early round pick and you'd have to, give that up, that just means you're getting value now on Mike Evans because your second round pick would have been a late second round pick. So, wait to hear the Zeke news and depending on where you're at in your draft order, you can go either way.
All right, we're going to try this again. You ready for this voicemail question?
So ready.
It's going to be such a voicemail question.
Based on average draft position, would you rather have Terrell Pryor or Jamison Crowder?
The Pryor-Crowder debate.
Thank you, Mystery Caller.
Yeah, no name.
So,
I did say brief and to the point, and that was as brief and to the point as we've ever had.
Right now.
Yeah, give me the ADPs.
So Terrell Pryor's going at the back of the 3rd round, the 312. Crowder is 2 rounds later at the 508.
What?
It's really hard not to take Crowder in that situation. I think in a full PPR, I will take Crowder at that value, and in a half and full, I'll stick with – because Pryor's 312. You're almost in the 4th round there. It's only a round and a half. I'll go Pryor, standard, half point.
I'm going to go Pryor in either situation. My what exclamation was, I can't believe that Crowder is up in the back of the 5th. I know that you guys are quite bullish on him, and I like him as a player. I think
What's stopping you, Mike?
People are overvaluing him. I mean, you think, okay, Crowder, PPR. He's going to be a PPR stud. He's like Jarvis Landry. Jamison Crowder, in a pretty good situation last year, had 67 receptions. I mean, he was carried fantasy value because he had 7 touchdowns. And if you watch his touchdowns, they are not.
They don't come off as 7 touchdowns this year.
As the most repeatable thing. And yes, he's going into. I think this is his 3rd season. So you have that potential breakout.
I'll happily water bet you 80-plus receptions.
See, 80 is not a PPR machine.
Yeah, that's still not that.
PPR machine. You're talking
no Deshaun
90+.
Jackson, no Pierre Garçon.
If you
3rd-year wide receiver. All right, 85.
90. If you think that if you believe in the PPR value of Jamison Crowder, which your rankings say you believe, you 90-plus receptions.
Water bet.
All right. It's a good question. So you would go Pryor in all those circumstances because you're higher on Pryor.
Yeah, I think that the ceiling potential for Pryor is much more in line with Terrell Pryor, and that's not that big of a difference.
The ceiling of Pryor is in line with Terrell Pryor?
Is that what I said?
Very intelligent.
Yeah.
He's dancing on the ceiling.
I think if you're just in a vacuum, the value of Crowder is better there than of Pryor. However, when I compare the guys around Crowder in the 5th round, there's other wide receivers I prefer to Crowder, so I would actually lean Terrell Pryor in this situation. Just based
Leave it to me to be the guy not going Terrell Pryor in all circumstances. All right, let's move on. Mike in Wilmington, Delaware. Hey, guys.
I'm in Delaware.
In my league,
Jason
we
got
just
it.
implemented a rookie keeper policy where you get to keep rookies you drafted the following year for the price of a pick 2 rounds earlier than the previous year. No limit on how many times you can keep them. I don't mind that. Jason's got to be at least halfway on board there.
No, I like
Considering this, who would you target and how much more would you value rookies during the draft with the upside to keep them versus the high floor established guys? I'd certainly be taking some shots.
Yeah,
I'd be looking
But these
for
are
that.
late round shots.
Right, exactly. I'm not changing how high I draft, Joe Mixon or
Doesn't it affect a guy like, let's say you get Kareem Hunt in the 6th, 7th round, and now the next year, if he's the starter, you have a 5th round starter? That's where I'd be taking my
But
shot.
that's an if.
What it would do
Well, of
for me
course.
is 2 things.
Samaje Perine?
It would do 2 things for me. It's not going to move any running back rookies or any position rookies up my board in any of the middle drafts, but it'll tie break. If that's where I think their value is in a normal league and it's right in line, then I will lean towards grabbing that rookie there over the vet that I have him right next to. But late in the draft, if it's a rule where you only have to draft him, not just draft him and carry him the whole year, then those late rounds, I'm taking some shots. I'll fill the back of my roster with all the Jamal Williams and Joe Williams.
The problem with filling the back of your roster is
I'm going to cut those guys usually in most leagues anyway.
well, that's my point. Is it's like it's not really offering you much because you can't even wait and see on them.
No, right.
For
That's
somebody
why I
like
said
Hunt, at least you're going to get some value early.
And
Yeah.
I love Kareem Hunt, but when is he going to take over? So if you're having to take him earlier, like the 7th round.
I'm talking like a round earlier than his ADP. I'm not.
Okay, yeah,
that doesn't bother me.
Sure, a round earlier, I don't mind doing that. But in this format, everyone knows that I can keep a rookie and get a discount next year. So I think that's just naturally going to move their ADP up.
All right, let's go voicemail here.
Hey guys, this is Danny from Minneapolis. I have pick number 6 in a 14-team half-point PPR, and I'm wondering if you guys think I could get a quality RB1 with pick 23 if I go wide receiver in the 1st, or if I should consider reaching for maybe LaShawn McCoy at pick number 6. Thanks. Love the show.
14-teamer.
14-team league. He's at number 6. I don't pass on running back there.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. It's a matter of you can get a good running back at that 23 area, like a Lamar Miller, who I like, but I just don't. I am Mr. Lamar Miller, but I don't want him as my RB1. I want a guy who can go out there, be not just consistent, but have high potential games. I'm confident in the depth of finding wide receiver throughout the draft. So I don't think you're reaching for Shady at 6.
That means you're passing on Julio or Beckham for LaShawn McCoy.
Yep. Yeah, in a 14-team, I would. I would do that.
There's also the chance
You don't want LaShawn McCoy, Des Bryant there?
Possible. So let's take a look. So it's either LaShawn McCoy and maybe Des Bryant comes back to you, or I guess
Doug
Jason, that's what
Baldwin.
you were looking at. You're looking at Odell Beckham, Crowell.
Right, exactly.
So Andy, you love Isaiah Crowell. Odell Beckham, Crowell, or Shady, and let's even say we'll go Shady, Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Shady side.
You are?
Yeah,
Okay.
even though I love Crow. I am.
And based on news, it's very realistic you could get Zeke there. And in a 14-team league, if Zeke is suspended 2 or 3 games, I would still take him there.
Well, and then what's the line then? What's the line for you for Zeke?
3.
3. So 4 games, you're going to pass on him at 106?
Yeah.
Same. All right, Ludwig in Berlin, Germany.
Oh, bonjour.
He said bonjour. That's how he started his message. Keenan Allen and Sammy Watkins have very similar stats regarding games played, total yards, touchdowns. While Allen has way more catches than Watkins, Watkins has more yards per reception. Both seem perfectly healthy going into the year and are expected to be the number 1 target for their team. So still, you guys, especially Andy, seem to be very high on Watkins and very low on Allen. Explain yourself, says Ludwig in Berlin, Germany.
This is easy to me in the sense it's just who are the other options there. I mean, you've got Zay Jones, a rookie with Sammy Watkins, but Robert Woods is gone. Marquise
Will now his name's escaping me as
Goodwin.
well.
Yeah,
Goodwin.
Goodwin.
I was
Thank
going to
you,
say
is
Wilson, but
gone.
that's the Bears.
I mean, it's pretty much Sammy Watkins is the show. Now Keenan, I expect him to be the number 1, target, but even if he is the number 1 target, you still have Tyrell Williams and Dontrell Inman and Travis Benjamin and Gates and Hunter Henry. There's just too many other options there for me to be as confident on Keenan Allen as I am on Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair point. Mike is flipped on those two guys, so Mike obviously sees them both in the similar category. I think I have Keenan too low. I didn't adjust him yet with the Williams news, but I'm also waiting to see his health. I think for me, the
report is that he's fully healthy.
Yeah, yes, Rivers says he looks like his old self, which is great.
Yeah,
I hope that's the case. But Watkins is more of a double-digit touchdown threat to me than Keenan Allen is as well. And so I think that I probably have Keenan too low. I've also moved Watkins up recently with the health news. And in a standard league, I really like Watkins more than I would Keenan Allen. Big play potential, more of a touchdown guy to me. But I think it's a very fair question. They have very similar histories.
Because, Jason, while you're saying, well, there's far more targets in San Diego, but there's a lot more passing yards to go around.
That's what I was going to say. 2,000 yards difference, maybe.
Because Tyrod, I like him, but he's going to pass for, 3,200 yards? Phillip Rivers has 4,500-yard potential.
Sure.
He's got 5,000-yard potential.
Yeah. I don't expect 5 from him this year, but is it outside of the realm of possibilities? No. And so I think that that's what makes this question so interesting is it's that balance. Do you want the player who's in a better offense, but he's got capable pieces around him, or do you want the only show in town?
No doubt. Good question. All right, we'll jump into another voicemail question here before we get to best ball.
Hey, this is Alex from Detroit. I have a question about trading draft picks before the draft. What do you guys feel about it? And if you do guys like it, what strategy do you recommend? To go top-heavy or to load up on mid-round picks? Thank you. Bye.
Well, there's an old adage that I've always had, which is draft picks can't tear their ACLs.
Yes, that's very true.
I'm a big fan of picking up draft picks that cannot be injured. If you can trade players for draft picks, obviously you need to get the right deal. I'm a huge fan of leagues where you trade them. And if you – yesterday I polled our Sleeper Bot channel, and I asked them if you could only play one format for the rest of your life, would you play redraft, keeper, or dynasty?
I voted redraft.
Yeah, redraft was –
I voted keeper.
Redraft was the clear winner. I voted dynasty. How funny. But the dynasty players, the reasoning they said was, hey, you can trade all year long. You can trade all the time. That's why they love dynasty.
Yeah. Right. And so let's say it's a redraft, though, and there's no players to trade for the picks. You're just trading
moving
pick
numbers
positions. Around. Do you prefer to be higher or lower? You know, obviously there's a lot more value at the top of the first round. And if you can move some of your, middle picks to get you higher, I think the value will pay off.
It's funny because I go the opposite direction, thinking that most casual leagues, the amount of good players dropping to those middle round picks, and if you're an astute fantasy player listening to this show and all 399 previous episodes, you might get more value there. So I think it does depend a little bit on your league.
Yeah, and I love the draft day trade up. When you're in that fifth round and a guy that should not be there is there,
Yeah, that's a great point. I'll extrapolate on
that's
that.
great. Yeah, then you know who's on the board.
I have come to realize that draft picks are worth less inside of the actual draft, where in our keeper league, it's a 3-keeper. As soon as the NFL draft opens up, draft pick trading can happen. I have found it far more difficult and have to give up a much larger amount of assets to move up in the off season. Once the draft is going, it's like people start diminishing the value of the picks, and I can get a little bit here just to move back.
Right.
And so
they get on the clock. They're not sure who they want.
Right.
And they welcome you saving them out of that
So
pick.
those are that's what I've found I can take
All right.
advantage of for my team.
All right. Hey, guess what?
What?
Today's episode is brought to you by Thumbtack. Thumbtack makes it easy to find and hire skilled local professionals for anything on your list. Now, I am a walking Thumbtack testimonial.
You are.
I have thumbtacked everything because it is so incredibly easy. And this is, you get the app. They have things from home improvement projects to event planning to personal wellness. They connect you with professionals, over 1,100 different services. I have used this. We used this in the office the other day to quickly find a plumber to come and fix a leaky pipe in the shower. I've used it for pest control at my house, for emergency HVAC service. Like we had our air conditioner go down in Arizona.
And that's no good.
So, I mean, the alarms go off, red alert. Got on Thumbtack. I'm telling you, I was in New York. I got on Thumbtack. I had an HVAC person, a highly qualified professional with good ratings, licensed contractor at the house helping my wife get that thing fixed right away. So I love the Thumbtack app. Thumbtack makes it easy to find pros for pretty much anything you need done. Download the app or try it now at thumbtack.com. That's thumbtack.com.
And make sure, Foot Clan, that you go and check out Pristine Auction. Great friends of the show, and we are as big a fans of Pristine Auction as you can be of anything. I mean, we just continue to grow our collection of signed sports memorabilia, everything from helmets and jerseys, shoes, whatever you want. Go search on there and see what they have. When you're watching football this coming season, you want to be surrounded by, the greatness of these signed player jerseys on the wall, or, the
signed helmets. The signed helmets are incredible.
Oh, those are crazy.
Yeah, I just love how many items to choose from. It's not like you're pigeonholed into, here's 3 items from the Cowboys for the next 5 years. I mean, hundreds of daily auctions.
Yeah, I was going to say, the daily auctions are different every day. So just keep checking it out. It's completely free to browse, free to make an account. You could sign up, say that you heard of them through the Fantasy Footballers. Let them know we sent you. But check them out. It's pristineauction.com, Pristine auction.com.
All right, we're going to take a timeout right now. We're going to jump into our weekly best ball segment. Very special guest today. Scott Barrett joined Mike to talk about best ball, some strategy for playdraft.com. Let's go ahead and talk right now.
Best Ball Bonanza, brought to you by Playdraft.
For today's Best Ball Bonanza segment, we thought we would reach out to a fella that you have heard of. You've heard his name multiple times on this podcast, yet he has never actually made an appearance. A mistake, a gross mistake that we have rectified today. Scott Barrett at Scott Barrett DFB, the original Dude Fantasy Bro. What is happening, Scott? How are you doing?
Good, Mike. Wonderful introduction. You had me at rectified. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about best ball leagues. I've done about 250 over the past 2 seasons. I've been profitable both years, and it's just a really fun format that I think is kind of the future of fantasy in many ways.
Oh, we love it. It's a great way to enhance the off season, and we're getting people into it on the Fantasy Footballers. There's a lot of people over here who they're just hearing about best ball for the first time. And a reminder, playdraft.com/ballers. That's where we highly suggest you go. Check out the draft app. But Scott, like you said, is a master of the best ball draft. He's had great success. So we brought him on. And Scott, give us a tip, maybe 2 tips if you have them, but this is how you go about your draft, your roster construction, whatever it is. Just give us your top tip. What do you got, Scott?
So when we look at a best ball league, we have to see what differentiates it from a typical redraft league. And the 2 big things is, there's no waiver wire, and then you don't have to make difficult start-sit decisions. It just automatically starts your highest scoring players at each position. So I think the 2 biggest things from that is that we can aim for, upside, boom bust type players, because they won't really hurt you as much in this format. And relative to ADP might actually be values in a best ball league. And the other is, because you like a 0 RB strategy doesn't really work as well in this format, because, that relies heavily on finding a backup running back now thrust into a starting role, or kind of a late round gem who was drafted at a certain point who's now starting. So I think maybe the two big tips for me, outside of just general roster construction, where I want to go 2 to 3 quarterbacks, 4 to 6 running backs, 2 to 3 tight ends, maybe like 6 to 9 wide receivers. The two big things for me is, one, I want to go running back heavy early. I want maybe in the first 5 rounds, I want at least like 3 running backs I really like. And you can check out my most recent article on bell cow running backs to find out which running backs those might be. And then the other thing is, I want to go quantity over quality at the wide receiver position. Guys like Torrey Smith, who you can get in the last round, I really feel like he's going to have like 3 to 5 weeks where he could score like 18 fantasy points, and then the rest of the time maybe he does nothing. But yeah, it's just a more volatile position. So you can definitely go a little later and just go heavy on the number of wide receivers rather than just loading up, name brand wide receivers early on in the draft. I'd rather go running back there, like I said. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
No, that's excellent stuff. That's good, roster construction talk, and we appreciate you jumping on, Scott. I know it was just short-lived. Maybe if you're lucky, we'll get you on for a long form segment on here, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
All right, then I'll sneak in one last tip while I have you on here.
I knew I'd get it out of you.
Also, wait on quarterback. It's just pretty easy to build elite quarterback production based on 2 to 3 mid to late range quarterbacks. The difference between grabbing an Andrew Luck and a Blake Bortles isn't vastly different from something like Carson Palmer, Phillip Rivers, and Blake Bortles,
No, I love it. So you can check him out on Twitter at Scott Barrett DFB. He's wearing a really obnoxious T-shirt, at least at the time of this recording. That's what his avatar is. And, of course, you can check out his other work at Pro Football Focus, where he's big time. He's big time now. You're a full-time guy, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's all because you discovered me back when I had 800 followers.
You are so welcome. You are welcome, Scott. It has nothing to do with you actually being a quality fantasy analyst. It's because I mentioned your name on the show.
It's that footballer's bump, yeah. It only took a year, but I grew 15,000 followers from it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, great segment there with Scott Barrett. Thank you for coming on the show.
Love Scott Barrett.
Good information. Again, go to playdraft.com/ballers to check out all the best ball leagues. It's so much fun.
Do you think Jay Grizz has a special place for Scott Barrett due to the name?
I see where you're going.
Yeah. I barely got that.
Ooh.
It took me a while.
Well, there you go.
Because his name is Barrett.
Yeah.
Got it. Nailed it. All right, hey, very special time right now. We're going to close the show out. For those of you that have been around a little while or a long while, maybe you went in on all the inside jokes that you've missed out on and don't understand. We've got a little special segment brought to you by Judge Giamatti himself. Brooks has cut together some of our favorite moments, most interesting moments from the show over the last 3 years. So
infamous moments.
Infamous, famous, whatever you want to say. Take it away. So we're talking David Johnson, the 22nd pick of the 3rd round by the Arizona Cardinals.
Be still my heart.
Go watch David Johnson's highlight reels.
David Johnson. David Johnson.
David Johnson. I just want an announcer to do it.
Now coming in, running back, David Johnson.
In February.
Michael.
Don't ever sing that.
Please. Stop.
No! Yes!
I'm Andy Holloway, and I'm an Arian Foster owner. So sad right now.
Oh, you burned bright.
Oh, Arian. What do they call me on Twitter, Mike?
They're calling you the Fantasy Reaper, my friend. You get high in Andy's rankings, you go down.
Believe it or not, it's at Andy Holloway, not the Fantasy Reaper.
I'm in. I want to.
And I love Michael Keaton.
Whoa! Did you?
The ever under pressure?
Yeah, the ever under pressure question. So
I love Michael
Keaton.
Keaton.
We're adding a Sunday morning.
I love Michael Keaton.
That's
Michael Thomas. I love Michael Keaton.
Thomas Rawls.
I love Michael Keaton. And
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
They brought in Guns Mahoney.
Guns Mahoney there. Guns Mahoney's decision.
Dan Campbell is his name.
Yeah.
It's
what's
back,
that?
baby.
Abdullah Express is fully ready to go.
Because blah pow.
Blah, blah.
Blah pow. Blah pow.
If you've not been infected with the Beezles, you gotta get yourself together.
No,
Jason
I had the
clearly has
Beezles.
not.
I had the Beezles when I was a kid, so I can't get it anymore.
Touchdown.
But Andy.
Yes.
But I got the Beezles.
Oh, yeah.
Beezles. Beezles #1 wide receiver.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your unverified supporter is out of town right now.
But Mike.
Oh,
but
yes.
Andy.
Yes, voice of public opinion.
But Mike.
Let's-
But guys. But Andy.
Oh,
grief.
no. What are you doing here?
Andy. He's at the back of the second.
But Jason.
Oh! Oh, my goodness. I didn't know where this was going. I'm just
It's
moving
going
on.
nowhere.
All right. You're just out of the blue saying Tyler Eifert is a nice-looking gentleman.
Yes.
Okay. Tennessee.
There's handcuffs, and then there's like a handcuff you
Yeah,
want to
he's
have
a
on
handcuff. He's the second one.
handcuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think the big difference.
Handcuff.
The big difference is last year Bilal Powell.
Bilal Powell was a handcuff. You know what I mean? As opposed to
Yeah,
just
no,
a
I
handcuff.
totally know what you mean. Yeah.
He's like a modern Western handcuff.
handcuff.
All right, so the modern Western. So if this is a valuable guy,
Right.
then we need him to be a handcuff. And also, I would say this to all Foot Clan listeners: if you are live drafting and you show up at your draft without double stuffed Oreos, you are making a terrible mistake, and you have let me down.
What Jason forgot today was he has one of those heart lockets, and you open it, and it's Danny
It's just
Woodhead.
Woodhead on one side and Oreo double stuff on the other. I think you have to keep him because what you're saying in the snap percentage.
What's your snack count?
My snack count is 100%. I don't bake extraordinarily well, but I eat baked goods as good as anyone. And I would say I'm expert level at eating baked goods and other non-baked goods as well.
So Jason has discovered mixing Sprite with lemonade
It's
and
so
really
good.
enjoying this.
It's
okay?
the best drink that exists.
There's no real name for it.
So I call it the Jason Moore
So
when I
he's
go and I
trying-
order.
He's trying to brand it the Jason Moore and talk casually about this.
And I need your help, America. That's bananas. That is absolutely ridiculous and stupid.
The Megalodon giveaway
Megalodon
is here. You guys are terrifying.
Megalodon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these two very sick individuals. Tomorrow, we have the Megalodon episode. Wow, that's impressive. Thank you for making the Megalodon the most successful episode in our history by a lot. This is the official last recording of the show in our old studio. And what better way to commemorate that than Boys to Men?
Yes. And if you're wondering how we're going to say goodbye, we're burning it to the ground.
Wait.
No one can use it.
It's gone.
Yeah,
I
that's
brought a sledgehammer today. This is the unchristening event.
It's the opposite.
Yeah,
of
we're waving goodbye. And bigger and better things. We've got a new studio we're debuting next Tuesday. And we'll be spreading our legs. We'll be comfortable. Mike won't be putting his feet up on the desk.
What?
Did I say spreading our legs?
Yes.
I really don't know what to say at this point. What was I trying to say?
We're going to be spreading our wings?
Stretching our legs?
Stretching our
Oh,
legs.
there it
That's
is.
a lot different.
There you go.
Those mean quite different things.
We're back. We're back in a new building.
But this is great news, I think, for Odell Beckham. I've
Yes,
seen a lot of
I like
Twitter, questions from people just worried. Brandon Marshall's coming. Does that ruin my Odell Beckham? No. Odell Beckham is not going to see any kind of significant downcrease in targets or
Downcrease is a brand new word. That is impressive.
It's a special word.
How does it feel when your really good fantasy football opinions get just derailed by your grammar?
It feels pretty par for the course, really.
Okay.
Just feels like living.
Just life.
Feels like dreaming.
Livin. Living.
Living. Am I going to be able to withstand victories for the next few weeks?
Did you say withstand victories? What does that mean?
Well,
I can always withstand a victory.
5 stars is titled Withstanding Victories. I have been able to withstand multiple victories since I started listening to this podcast. I've been too busy eating double stuffed Oreos and withstanding all these victories with my 3-1 record thanks to the guys.
Not every show can withstand victories. What do you think it's like for a new listener to the show to hear so many people reference withstanding victories? Do they just think that we are dumb?
No. Cleveland, I think, would be a good spot, right? They shot, at Robert Griffin last year and said, "Can he do it?"
They shot at him?
You shoot in the
They
dark.
took
took a shot?
They took a shot at Robert Griffin.
No, not at.
With. There we have it.
It's very
I believe,
Very different than shooting at somebody.
and I was trying my best to kill Michael Thomas. I think if you listened a few weeks ago,
whoa.
his value.
Yeah,
to
so
bring
I know.
down
I'm with you.
To kill his fantasy lore, if you will.
You're going to have to cut that, Brooks. I want that on tape.
My hair is gone.
For the most part. It looks mighty fine.
Well, thank you.
Looks
Thank
better
you.
than Jason looks today. I'll tell you that right now. The other news. Hey, Jason. Jason could not be with us this morning. It is a
No, he is. Ask him a question.
Jason, how you doing? Voice of Public Opinion, what are your thoughts on this one?
Paul Perkins, do you think is it because his name is Perkins?
You mean like the old family
Like
restaurant?
the restaurant?
So if his name was
If there's
Paul
Smash-
Smashburger?
Smash Jackson.
Oh,
Be like,
he'd be a
dude.
second-round pick.
Yeah.
Smash
I agree
Jackson?
with you. Smash Jackson.
I want to draft that guy right now.
I'll tell you what.
What
he
about
c-
Scooch McBooch or whatever you said on the last show?
that was
He's
a
a
good
folk
player.
hero.
but
We've moved on from.
yeah, he's retired.
Smash Jackson is the new
I'll tell
nickname
you
for
what.
Paul Perkins?
If Paul Perkins comes out gangbusters for the 3rd time, then he's Smash Jackson. from here on
Oh,
out.
yes.
People throw these out, these player comps, and you remove the name. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's player A versus player B. We're just going to start filling in. This just Smash Jackson. Look at his stat line. Look at his metrics.
Smash Jackson has a chance to start in New
And
York
then
this year.
You rip the tag off, and you're like,
Paul
it's
Perkins.
Paul Perkins. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
What have I done?
Paul Perkins from Dunder Mifflin. All
Thanks
right.
for the voicemail.
Ryan Williams.
I
Smash
completely,
Jackson.
I completely agree. I would much rather have Smash Jackson. Oh, Smash Jackson. Come on, Paul Perkins. Be good. Let us have this.
Be good, buddy. Johnny in Wisconsin. Why is Alex Smith so low on your rankings?
Because he's Alex Smith. Next question.
Next question. We've always been big Alex Smith supporters when it comes to streaming because of his rushing production. But
Alex Smith is when you are running out the door, you're like, oh crap. I didn't do my laundry. I have nothing to wear. I'll just grab this Alex Smith because I know it's good enough.
right.
You guys,
You won't embarrass yourself. What's that, Brooks?
you've compared him to a saltine cracker.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. After you've
Same
had
thing, yeah.
after you've had the stomach flu for a few days and you need to ease back into eating something, first thing you do is take an Alex Smith because he's not going to upset your stomach. The saltine cracker. Alex Smith is super dependable if you need somebody to pick up your kids after school.
He'll get the job done. He'll get the job done.
He won't leave them there.
His ratings on Angie's List are just 4.5 stars.
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, dependable, reliable. Does the front and the backyard.
It's never great, never terrible.
I've never had a green pool once since he has taken over
Yeah. No.
my pool
Definitely.
duties.
I ran
Who
out
knew?
I ran out of gas once. I knew I could depend on
Oh, yeah,
Alex
give him
Smith.
a call. Give him a call. He'll pick you up. Did you hear the news, by the way, on Alex Smith? He's, quote, bummed about the way the Kansas City Chiefs season ended.
All right. That's a good ending point for the Alex Smith.
There is no more Alex Smith comment than that.
I almost forgot I wrote an article about Alex Smith. He chose vanilla ice cream at Baskin Robbins.
Yes.
At the 31 flavors. You guys have any parting words or just a farewell?
It's just a farewell. I will see you
Gonna
on
go.
Thursday, my
As
friends.
Alex Smith would say, have a good day.
Oh, that's a lot of fun.
What a stroll.
Oh, down memory lane.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we would have gotten rid of Jason by now.
Oh, man. I'm surprised I'm alive. All the baked goods I've been eating.
I'm surprised he's not a wanted criminal with all these talks of injuring people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was really surprised hearing Brooks' clip that he put together that I've had so many accidental killings of people.
When I first
R.I.P.
heard those clips, I immediately called my high school English teacher and thanked her for teaching me how to speak naturally. So, all right. Hey, thank you very much. Once again, appreciate you hanging out. Come back next week. Again, 3 shows a week right now, going into 5 a week in August, and a lot of very exciting stuff going on. Hopefully, you're getting ready for your fantasy football league. We know you're hopping on board, new Foot Clan members each and every day. So, farewell. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back on Tuesday.
And if you want to play the best ball with us, you just go to playdraft.com/ballers.
Get ready.
Easiest way to connect us and play draft with us.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.